The heat hit Ethan before he even saw the flames. He had fought fires before, on countless industrial sites and on the outskirts of human colonies, but nothing had prepared him for this. The research facility on the edge of Epsilon 9 was massive, with tall glass walls and metal corridors. And now it was falling apart. Explosions ripped through the building as fire poured from shattered windows. Sirens screamed in the distance, but in the chaos, Ethan barely noticed them. He only noticed the cries. The human instinct to help ran through him like electricity. Fireproof suit and helmet on, oxygen mask in place, he ran into the inferno. Each step was dangerous. Metal beams twisted in the heat. Glass shattered underfoot and thick smoke choked the air. People outside shouted warnings, but he ignored them. He had heard a faint sound, a voice calling for help. Someone was trapped. Someone alive. As he moved deeper inside, he could see the devastation. Floors had collapsed in some areas, and flames were spreading faster than anyone could contain. In the middle of the chaos, he spotted her. She was pinned under a fallen support beam, a thin figure amid the inferno. Her clothing glimmered faintly in the firelight, not like ordinary fabric, but almost as if it shimmered from inside. Her hair fell over her face and she coughed violently, gasping for air. Without thinking, Ethan dropped to his knees and tried to lift the beam. It was heavy, heavier than it should have been, but adrenaline fueled his strength. He grunted, muscles straining, and finally managed to lift it enough for her to crawl out. The moment she was free, he grabbed her arm and pulled her toward the exit. Behind them, the floor trembled as another explosion shook the building, sending debris flying. Ethan didn't wait. He ran through the smoke, carrying her in his arms when the rubble forced her to leave the ground. He leapt over broken floors, slid under beams, and finally reached a safer corridor. Her small hands clutched at his shoulders, gripping desperately. Her eyes were wide, almost glowing in the firelight, but they held no fear of him. Instead, they seemed to hold a quiet calm, a strange confidence that made Ethan's heart race. "Keep moving," he shouted over the roar of the fire. His own mask made his voice sound muffled, but he hoped she understood. She nodded slightly, letting him lead the way. The building groaned above them, walls bending under the heat. Flames licked the ceiling and sparks rained down like deadly confetti. Finally, they reached a stairwell that had survived the collapse. He guided her down the stairs, each step trembling under the heat. Outside, the fire was visible in full, devouring the facility as if it were alive. Ethan spotted other survivors being rescued by emergency drones, but he ignored them. His only concern was her. When they finally reached the courtyard, he set her down gently. She looked around with an almost serene expression, as if she had been expecting the chaos. Ethan stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow, his suit scorched and covered in soot. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice hoarse. She nodded, brushing debris from her shimmering clothing. Her accent was strange, melodic, unlike any human dialect Ethan had ever heard. "Thank you," she said softly. Her words seemed to vibrate, not in volume, but in a way that caught Ethan off guard. He frowned slightly. "For saving me," Ethan shrugged. "Just doing my job." "No," she said, looking directly at him. "That was more than your job. You risked your life for me." Her eyes held something that made him uneasy, a mix of curiosity, admiration, and something he could not name. Before he could respond, emergency drones arrived, guiding survivors to safety and scanning the area for remaining dangers. Firefighters and security forces began securing the perimeter. Ethan took a deep breath and stepped aside, letting her go with the authorities. He didn't realize it at the time, but he had made an impression on her. Liara, as he would later learn her name, watched him from a distance, noting the courage it took for a human to run straight into death without hesitation. In her culture, such bravery was rare and humans were generally underestimated. Yet here was one, risking everything for someone they barely knew. Ethan returned to his station later, exhausted. The heat had left his body trembling, and his mind raced with images of the fire, the collapse, and the strange woman he had saved. Rumors spread quickly across the colony. The fire was no accident. Investigations suggested sabotage. Someone wanted the research destroyed. Perhaps an alien faction. Perhaps a human rival. Ethan didn't care. He only knew he had saved a life. The following days were tense. Security forces questioned survivors. Investigators examined the ruins. Ethan kept busy, helping wherever he could, moving supplies, assisting with reconstruction, and comforting those who had lost everything. But he kept thinking about her. He tried to see her again but failed. Every lead turned up empty, She was gone from the colony as quickly as she had appeared. The mystery gnawed at him. Who was she? Why had someone tried to kill her? And why did she seem different? He could not shake the feeling that there was something extraordinary about her. Meanwhile, far away in a place humans had never reached, Liara communicated with her people. Her eyes glowed faintly in the dim light of her quarters. Her hands moved over a holographic interface, sending a private report back to her home planet. "There is a human," she said quietly to herself, "who shows courage beyond reason. I had underestimated them. Perhaps they are more than I thought." Her people listened through the transmission, surprised. They had sent her to observe human behavior discreetly. Humans were often dismissed as primitive, impulsive, and weak compared to advanced alien civilizations. But Liara had seen something remarkable in Ethan: fearlessness, loyalty, and ingenuity. Her thoughts returned to the fire. She could still picture the way he had lifted the beam, the determination in his eyes, the instinctive way he had carried her to safety. Most humans would have hesitated. Most humans would have waited for backup. But not him. Liara smiled faintly, almost imperceptibly. She did not understand why she felt compelled to speak to him again, why she was drawn to this human. She had a duty to her people, a royal duty that often left her isolated and cautious. Yet here was someone who had acted without thought for duty, without concern for reward, simply for the sake of another life. Back on the colony, Ethan resumed his routine, but he could not focus. He checked security logs, talked to survivors, and visited the ruined facility, searching for clues. His colleagues joked about his obsession with a mysterious woman, but Ethan did not care. He only remembered her face, her calm composure amid the flames, and her eyes that seemed to see more than he had expected. One evening, as he sat on the edge of a repaired platform overlooking the colony, he watched the sunset. The sky glowed orange and red, reflecting the remnants of the fire. He thought about the fire, the debris, and the strange feeling that this encounter was not ordinary. Something about her lingered in his mind, like an echo he could not shake. In the distance, he noticed a small figure walking through the colony streets, partially hidden under a cloak. He squinted. Could it be her? He ran forward, but when he reached the place, there was nothing, only empty streets and the faint smell of smoke. He shook his head, frustrated. "Just my imagination," he muttered. But it was not his imagination. Liara observed him from the shadows, careful not to be seen. She was testing him, assessing human persistence. She had grown curious about him, more than she had anticipated. Most humans would have moved on, forgotten her after such an encounter. But not him. His courage, his instinct, and his attention to detail had left an impression. That night, as the colony settled into uneasy sleep, Ethan lay awake in his quarters. His mind replayed every moment of the fire, every scream, every leap, every flash of light. And then her voice, soft, melodic, and unforgettable. He had no idea who she really was, that she was not human, and that she was a princess from a distant world, sent here to observe human resilience. Ethan drifted into an uneasy sleep, unaware that his life was about to change. The galaxy was far larger, stranger, and more dangerous than he could imagine. And somewhere in that vast expanse, an alien princess had taken notice of a human whose bravery and heart might alter the course of interstellar history. The flames were gone, but their memory would linger forever, marking the beginning of an extraordinary encounter, one that would test courage, loyalty, and the very limits of what it meant to be human. Ethan woke to a calm morning, the air still carrying traces of smoke from the fire that had destroyed the research facility. Life on the colony was slowly returning to normal. People were rebuilding, clearing debris, and repairing damaged equipment. Yet for Ethan, nothing felt normal. His mind kept drifting back to her, the strange woman he had saved. Her calm eyes, her soft voice, the way she had seemed to trust him instantly. He did not know her name, and he did not know where she had gone after the fire, but there was a feeling in his chest that he could not ignore. Something told him that this encounter was not ordinary, and somehow it was far from over. Later that day, as Ethan helped transport supplies to a new section of the colony, a convoy arrived on the outskirts. Vehicles unlike anything he had seen before, sleek and glowing faintly, moved with precision. Soldiers in unfamiliar armor disembarked, scanning the area carefully. Their presence caused a stir among the colonists, and whispers spread quickly. Visitors from another world, perhaps. Ethan's attention was drawn to a figure moving through the convoy. His heart skipped. She was there, the woman from the fire, walking with purpose, her head held high, her cloak glinting in the sunlight. Something in her posture seemed different, regal even. Her calm composure gave her an aura that demanded attention. He approached cautiously, unsure if he should speak. She noticed him immediately. Her eyes met his, and for a brief moment the world seemed to pause. Then she smiled, faint but unmistakable, and approached. "You came back," Ethan said, trying to keep his voice steady. "I never left," she replied. Her voice carried the same melody as before, but now he noticed a subtle authority behind it, a confidence that made him pause. "I needed to ensure the colony was safe after the fire. There were threats beyond what you saw." Ethan frowned. "Threats? What kind of threats?" Her eyes darkened slightly. Those who set the fire did not want only destruction. They wanted to send a message, an intimidation to control this sector. "But your actions during the fire..." "They disrupted their plans," Ethan blinked. "Me? I was just doing my job." "I didn't know..." "You saved a life," she interrupted gently. "A life that matters greatly to more than just this colony. You acted without hesitation, without asking for reward or recognition. That is rare among humans. That is why I have come to meet you again." Her words struck him. He had risked his life instinctively, but he had never considered the wider consequences. And now he realized that this woman was not an ordinary visitor. There was something extraordinary about her, something he had yet to understand. Before he could respond, alarms rang across the colony. A fleet of sleek black ships appeared in the sky, descending rapidly. Ethan and the woman instinctively took cover. Soldiers shouted orders, and panic spread among the colonists. It was clear. The attackers had come for her. Ethan looked at her, fear and determination mixing in his chest. "I won't let them take you," he said firmly. She studied him carefully, then nodded. "Then stay close. There will be no mercy if you lag behind." The first wave of attackers landed, moving with speed and precision. Ethan realized immediately that human weapons were almost useless against them. The soldiers beside him were trained, but even they struggled to adapt. Yet Ethan did not hesitate. He looked around and saw possibilities. The environment, debris, even remnants of the destroyed facility that he could use to fight back. His mind raced, quickly improvising strategies. He grabbed a piece of metal tubing, swinging it like a staff, knocking an attacker off balance. Another came at him with a strange energy blade, and he ducked, rolling behind a crate to avoid the attack. His movements were clumsy compared to the trained soldiers, but his quick thinking and unpredictability gave him an advantage. Liara fought beside him, her movements precise and deadly, but she noticed how his ingenuity changed the battle. Where trained forces struggled to adapt, Ethan saw opportunities and exploited them, turning the tide in small but significant ways. Despite the chaos, they moved together, covering each other's blind spots. Ethan realized that her presence amplified his confidence. He was no longer just a human trying to survive. He was someone fighting alongside a being whose power and strategy far surpassed anything he had encountered. The battle raged, but eventually, the attackers began to retreat. Ethan and Liara stood among the ruins, exhausted but victorious. Ethan looked at her amazed. "You're not human," he said finally, though he already suspected it. She smiled faintly, her eyes glowing softly in the dim light of the battlefield. "No, I'm not human. I am Liara, princess of a distant world. My people watch over regions like this, ensuring peace and order. Humans are often underestimated, but you are exceptional," Ethan blinked. "Princess, you mean? Royalty?" "Yes," she said. "And you risked everything for me. That courage, it is something few of my people possess. You reminded me why humans should never be underestimated." Ethan shook his head, still processing. "I didn't know. I was just trying to save someone." "Exactly," she replied, her tone warm but firm. "That is why you are extraordinary. Not because of power or title, but because of action, heart, and instinct. You proved that humanity can achieve greatness in ways even we cannot predict." As the sun set over the colony, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Liara and Ethan stood side by side. The battle was over, but the consequences would ripple across galaxies. Ethan realized that his life had changed forever. He had not only saved an alien princess, but he had also demonstrated what humans could do when faced with impossible odds. Liara looked at him with a mixture of respect and curiosity. "There is much you do not know about the universe, Ethan, but I hope you understand one thing: your courage today mattered. You changed outcomes not just for me, but potentially for countless others." Ethan smiled, humbled. "I guess being human isn't so bad after all." She chuckled softly, the sound like a gentle melody. "Not at all. And perhaps in time you will teach others the same lesson, that bravery, heart, and quick thinking are not limited by species." The night grew calm and the colony began to rebuild once more. Ethan returned to his quarters, exhausted but exhilarated. He replayed the day in his mind, each action, each choice, each moment of fear and courage. He understood now that heroism was not about strength alone. It was about heart, quick thinking, and the willingness to risk everything for another life. Far above, Liara's fleet prepared for departure. She sent a final message to her homeworld, describing the humans she had encountered. Her people listened intently, impressed by the unexpected bravery of one human. It was rare to see such courage, such loyalty, and such uncalculated heroism. For Ethan, life would never be the same. He had faced fire, chaos, and the unknown, and he had emerged not only alive but recognized by an alien princess as something extraordinary. He realized that humans were capable of greatness beyond their own imagination, and somewhere in the vastness of space, a princess had taken notice of a human whose bravery and heart might alter the future of more than just a single colony. Their paths had crossed for a reason, and neither would forget the day when courage overcame fear, when a human saved a life, and when the galaxy saw what humanity could truly achieve. As the stars shone above, Ethan looked up at the sky, wondering what other challenges awaited him. He knew now that the universe was far larger and more mysterious than he had ever imagined. But he also knew that no matter what came, humans could rise to meet it. Liara, aboard her ship, glanced at the distant blue planet below. She smiled, a rare expression of admiration. "Courage," she whispered, "is not measured by species. It is measured by heart. And this human has more heart than most." With that, she prepared to return to her people, leaving Ethan with a memory that would last a lifetime, a story of bravery, unexpected bonds, and the undeniable truth that humans, when pushed to their limits, could rise above any challenge, even the flames of a collapsing research facility. The galaxy was vast, the dangers immense, and the possibilities endless. And somewhere amid the stars, the courage of a single human shone brighter than any flame.